What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. The weekend games are right around the corner, and we have some difficult, decisions to make here heading into the fantasy playoffs. So today, talking about our quick and dirty top 30 wide receivers for Week 14 fantasy football. Now, if you're looking for more detailed information, that's over on our start-sit videos. That's where you'll want to go after this video. This is just meant to be a quick rundown here of 1 through 30. Also, just a reminder, the Thursday game is over. Doesn't do you any good to see those names in this list now. Trying to include as many guys as we can for the weekend. So here we go, looking at the top 30 wide receivers here for this week. All right, number 1, Davante Adams, Green Bay Packers. Got a great matchup going up against the Washington Redskins this week, and he's seen double-digit targets every week since he's been back. A lot of difficult matchups for a lot of other wide receivers. Got Davante Adams here at number 1. Number 2, Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the more consistent option in Tampa Bay despite the down week last week. Love the potential here this week going up against Indianapolis. Got him at wide receiver 2. Number 3, no, I'm not crazy, even though I may have him higher than almost every other person on the planet this week. Is DJ Moore at number 3 over the last 5 weeks. Guy has 57 targets, 36 receptions, and 517 yards in 5 games. He's playing great, and he's getting huge volume. Got him at wide receiver 3. Number 4, Michael Thomas had a down week last week and a difficult matchup this week going up against the San Francisco 49ers and Richard Sherman. Now it's Michael Thomas. You can't really hold him down any single game. They can just limit the upside, but it's still huge on a weekly basis. Got Michael Thomas, number 4. Number 5, DeAndre Hopkins, Houston Texans. They have a decent matchup this week against the Denver Broncos, but he'll see a lot of one-on-one coverage from Chris Harris, which could limit his upside also. Still an elite talent. We didn't sit him against New England. We're not doing it again this week. DeAndre Hopkins is at number 5. Number 6, Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Him and Chris Godwin have that ability to save your fantasy day on any given Sunday. I expect one of these guys to have a decent week this week going up against a banged-up Indianapolis secondary. Which one is it going to be? It's impossible to know. The ceilings are so high, you got to keep him up there in the rankings. Mike Evans, number 6. Number 7, Julian Edelman. This is a very difficult matchup. The Chiefs secondary very underrated, and Tom Brady doesn't trust a whole lot of wide receivers right now. Who does he trust? Julian Edelman. He could get peppered with targets this week. Got him at wide receiver 7. Number 8, Tyreek Hill. Also, very difficult matchup going against the number 1 rated defense against opposing wide receivers in the New England Patriots. He'll see a lot of Stephon Gilmore, and this is really not a secondary you want to test very much. However, he doesn't need a whole lot of volume to give you a solid fantasy day. Got him right now, dropped down a few spots to wide receiver 8. Number 9, Stephon Diggs going up against the Detroit Lions. A great matchup for him, a matchup which he exploited just a few weeks ago, and it doesn't sound like Adam Thielen's coming back yet. Stephon Diggs got him at wide receiver 9. Number 10, this is where I have Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers. A lot of people kind of disappointed with the production of him for the season, but as of late, the volume is starting to return, and he's a lot safer option here this week. Got him going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars and my wide receiver 10. Number 11 is Jarvis Landry, Cleveland Browns. He's been the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football over the last 5 weeks. He has been on an absolute tear, similar to DJ Moore, and I'm going to move him up the rankings because of it. On a weekly basis, he is their number 1 option in that offense, and he's converting more times than not. Love Jarvis Landry going up against the Bengals. Got him at wide receiver 11. Number 12, this is where I have Calvin Ridley. Now, Calvin Ridley's a few spots higher this week going up against Carolina because we don't really know the availability yet of Julio Jones. He's practicing on a limited basis, but does he play? That affects the rankings of Calvin Ridley. As of right now, got him at number 12. Number 13, and I never thought I would say his name this high on a list, and hopefully it doesn't backfire. It's Devontae Parker, Miami Dolphins, going up against the New York Jets. Parker's been an absolute beast here as of late, and he's been super consistent here second half of the season. I know it's hard to say, but had you told me at the beginning of the season that at one point I would have Devontae Parker ranked over the likes of Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, Julio Jones, and Odell Beckham, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy, but the time is here, and Devontae Parker deserves it right now, wide receiver 13. Number 14, Courtland Sutton, Denver Broncos, going up against the Houston Texans. We know they're going to have to throw the ball, and Drew Lock looks like a capable quarterback there under center. The touchdown upside is through the roof for Courtland Sutton on a weekly basis. Got him right here at number 14. Number 15, the wide receiver that a lot of people absolutely hate right now because he threw up a goose egg in week 13. I expect a bounce back week, and hopefully Jalen Ramsey stays on the outside with either DK Metcalf or Josh Gordon, giving Tyler Lockett more opportunities across the middle of the field in the slot. Got him at wide receiver 15. Number 16, Robert Woods, Los Angeles Rams, and he is just racking in the balls here as of late. That sounded bad, but you know what I mean. The guy is catching everything, and he's seen ridiculous volume here in the past few weeks. He's got a matchup this week going up against the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of defensive attention in the backfield with Todd Gurley and Cooper Kupp. Bumping up Robert Woods here a few spots to wide receiver 16. Number 17, DJ Chark, Jacksonville Jaguars. The one good thing about Gardner Minshew coming back under center, we should see more consistent volume and more deep shots down the field to DJ Chark, kind of similar to what we saw first half of the season. Bumped him back up to wide receiver 17. Number 18, this is where I have Cooper Kupp of the Rams going up against the Seahawks. Now, for the majority of the season, this guy was inside the top 10 or 12. He is not getting that volume mainly because Robert Woods is getting all of it. But Cooper Kupp still has that upside. He's still a mid-wide receiver, too. Got him right here at 18. 19, Julio Jones. Biggest question mark here is how much does he play, if at all? Right now, I have him as a mid-wide receiver, 2 at wide receiver 19. But we're watching the practice reports and the injury reports to see how limited, if at all, he's going to be here heading into the weekend. If he is a full go heading into the weekend, he will climb up inside the top 12. Number 20, Odell Beckham right now of the Cleveland Browns, and he's kind of dealing with a hamstring injury, and I'm doing air quotes even though you can't see it. How limited is he? He should be fine and good to go, but he has not been anything near consistent this season. But the upside will always be there. The big play potential will always be there for him. Going up against the Cincinnati Bengals is not a horrible matchup. Got him dropped down all the way, though, to wide receiver 20. 21, Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati Bengals, and now that Andy Dalton is back under center, we can expect a lot more volume going the way of Tyler Boyd, similar to what we saw, last year and the beginning half of this year. Right now, got him at wide receiver 21. 22, Alshon Jeffrey, Philadelphia Eagles. Not very many options in that offense right now to go out there and catch footballs. Alshon Jeffrey is option 1A, and Carson Wentz is going to look his way a lot in a matchup going up against the New York Giants, which he can't exploit all game long. Got Alshon Jeffrey at 22. 23, Christian Kirk, Arizona Cardinals, going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A difficult matchup, but we're kind of looking at Christian Kirk in that same type of role that we saw Jarvis Landry really exploit Pittsburgh those last 2 times they've played. That's kind of what Christian Kirk is going to do this week. That's the type of role. Now, because he's struggled here the past couple weeks, that entire offense has struggled, I've bumped him down a few spots. He's still at wide receiver 23. 24, Kenny Golladay, Detroit Lions, going up against the Minnesota Vikings, who have been very easy to throw on here as of late. The only thing that's really limited Golladay is the quarterback play, and we have David Blau under center once again. Came out with a huge, opening drive last week on Thanksgiving, a 75-yard touchdown. Can we count on that every single week? No, we can't. And Blau looked a little bit more hesitant second half of that ball game. Now that there's some film on him, does he struggle? It limits the upside of Kenny Golladay. Got him dropped down to 24. 25, James Washington, Pittsburgh Steelers, going up against the Arizona Cardinals, and it may look like a bad matchup because he'll probably be covered by Patrick Peterson, but Patrick Peterson hasn't been able to stop anybody all season long. James Washington is their number 1 option in Pittsburgh, and he's building that chemistry with Devlin Hodges. Got him right now, number 25. 26, Sterling Shepard, New York Giants, going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot easier to throw on Philadelphia than it is to run on Philadelphia, and Sterling Shepard, with that chemistry built up with Eli Manning from past work, gives him that safer floor. Got him at 26. 27, Emmanuel Sanders, San Francisco 49ers, going up against the New Orleans Saints. A lot easier to throw on New Orleans than run on them also, which means we may see a little bit more Emmanuel Sanders this week. He's getting healthier by the week. The ribs are getting better, and if they can move him around and get him into the slot at times, Jimmy G could find him in space, and he could make some things happen this week. Got him at wide receiver 27. 28, it's going to be Robbie Anderson of the New York Jets, and this one's a little bit of a reach, but they're going up against the Miami Dolphins, and as of late, Robbie Anderson has been option 1 in New York. Sam Darnold's starting to look down the field for him more and more as the season gets later and later. I don't know if it's because they're eliminated, they don't care, and they're just trying to make big plays. Whatever it is, I expect to try to see a little bit of fireworks this week. Maybe Adam Gase gets some redemption there against his old team. Got Robbie Anderson up at 28. 29, Zach Pascal of the Indianapolis Colts. Great matchup going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who give up over 30 fantasy points a game to opposing wide receivers, and there's nobody else on the Colts to catch footballs at this point. Zach Pascal is at 29 and trending up. Number 30, Jamison Crowder, New York Jets. Great matchup going up against the Dolphins. The last time he played the Dolphins, he was a top 10 option. Now he's kind of struggled as of the past few weeks, but I expect them to get him back on track once again this week. Jamison Crowder, a wide receiver 3 for me, coming in at wide receiver 30. All right, those are my top 30 wide receivers here for Week 14, the quick and dirty top 30. Now, you may see things a little bit differently, and that's fine. We don't need to agree on it, but put it down below in the comment section. Maybe you think somebody should be sitting somewhere else, or maybe you think I'm missing somebody. By all means, put it down in the comment section, but don't just keep adding players and saying, hey, where's this guy? Well, I can't fit everybody in there. Who would you remove? Let's try to find out the best possible answers here heading into the weekend, trying to help everybody win as many possible matchups as we can here in 2019. We greatly appreciate the support. We look forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk to you later.